channel. It's the Brat here, and I want to stop you right now and say you should really like and subscribe. You should really, like, subscribe to me, because I feel like if you're already here, you want to watch it, so you should subscribe, so you can see more of this beautiful face, and help me out. Like, I'm not gonna act like this isn't for me too. Like, this, we can help each other. Like, we can help each other, okay? But after you've done that, then you can continue on to this video where I utilized the Too Faced glitter palette. I used a little bit of Juvia's Place all over the face. I used Fenty on the lips. Used Becca. Used Shop Mistake. Okay, we did a lot today, and I just want you to enjoy it. So continue on. So as always, I'm going to start out with applying some SPF to my face. This is the Kula Refreshing Water Mist. It's actually sunny now, so it's even more important to be applying sunscreen as opposed to when it was super rainy and cloudy for I don't remember how long. But now it's super hot, and I don't think that was what the people wanted either. It's quarantine. My state is actually opening back up, Ohio, but it's still like I don't really want to go outside. So yeah, we're gonna start out with doing my brows as usual. I'm going to skip past this, but I'm gonna use the K New York gel liner. Alright guys, I got my brows on, and I'm going to be using this Wet n Wild concealer. I believe it is the Photo Focus concealer. These are very cheap, and I actually even got them cheaper because I bought them on sale at maybe Walmart. Like, this shade was just being clearanced out or discontinued or something like that. So I just ended up buying it, and I was like, okay, we can do this. Like, this can work. It's very cheap, but still get a good amount of coverage from her, and she does her job. This one is actually almost empty. I haven't really used them in a while, so that's interesting. Alright, and I'm gonna go in and kind of fix this eyebrow that I messed up a little bit. Make sure my shapes are still there. I'm actually gonna put my contacts in, so I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, now that I finished the brow situation, I'm going to start with my eyes. And for today, I'm going to be online doing an interview for a job. So I want to go a little bit more natural than I normally would. So I'm going to first fix these little creases that happened. And then I'm going to use the Juvia's Place Coral Nubian 3 Coral palette. Jeez. I'm going to be using the brown in here because I really want to have like a very warm crease, and this color really gives me that, and it actually shows up on my skin, which is very important. So I'm just going to apply that to my crease. Now I'm going to take my favorite primer, the NYX Glitter Primer, and put it on my lid. And I'm going to use a nice pinky kind of color that is close to the color of my bra. I think I'm going to go into the Too Faced Glitter palette, Glitter Bomb palette. My mom got this like super on sale and thought that I would like it, so she bought it for me. And then I think I'm going to use this cute little color here. It's kind of like a, it's called Glitter Goals, and it's kind of like a pinky with some gold reflex in there. And as you can see, it's really hitting the light really well. And all of those pink colors are coming out. And I won't be doing a very specific like glitter crease or anything like that, so I want to make sure that I kind of really get it packed in and create kind of a fake crease that I normally would with eyeliner. It's actually a really pretty color, and I'm not sure if I've ever used it. So like, good job on this, Too Faced. Now I'm going to look for a palette that has kind of like a matte but also lightish green shade. And so, okay, this is not exactly what I want. I'm gonna go into Bad Habit Retro Love palette, which is this one, and I'm going to use Mod, which is this shade right here. It's not as light as I would have wanted it to be, but it would do for our purposes. Sticking with the same palette, I'm going to go into Rock and Roll and Nostalgia, these two more burgundy shades, but one is a little bit more deep and purpley, and that'll be my outer crease color. And there's really no method to this, just applying it. And we'll bring it all together with a little bit of black eyeliner on the lash line. Alright, now I just want to go in with my finger and kind of blend some of these lines. Alright. And then I'm going to go in with my AOA black eyeliner. It's called a Wonderliner, which I've literally never called it. So there's the name, guys. And I'm gonna give myself just a really quick little wing. This is honestly a little bit thicker than I would normally go, but I'm not really super close to my mirror, so I can't really get that super fine in there kind of look. So we're just gonna try and replicate the same. Alright, it looks relatively even. And you know, this is like a never-ending process, but I promise if it is uneven, it will not be super noticeable once you get, you know, into the rest of your face. So after a little bit of eyeliner, I'm going to prime my face with the Becca Skin Love Primer. I've said it once, so I'll say it again. I love this primer. It smells so amazing. I don't know what's what's in it, but something in it just makes it smell really amazing. It's a texture of almost a more tacky moisturizer, so you know your makeup is gonna stick to it. It doesn't leave a weird white cast over my face, and I honestly really like the consistency, because sometimes silicone primers, they will leave a white cast on me and they will feel a little weird, and they kind of clog my pores a little bit more and what they should, and then I get breakouts, so we don't want that. And now I'm gonna pause and while I go wet my sponge. Alrighty, so for foundation, I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place Velvet Matte Foundation. I Am Magic Velvet Matte Foundation, and it is in the shade Angola. This is a full coverage foundation that will cover every X you've ever had, your entire body count, whatever you need is a cover, it's going to cover. Including these lovely acne marks that I get. And I personally matched myself to this foundation using their charts online, which are very helpful. But I had also looked at it in store before I bought it, really, because I was kind of afraid. I don't really like matching before I bought it, really, because I was kind of afraid. I don't really like matching myself to foundations online because you never know, you know? It might look different photographed, the swatch might have a different balance, you know. There are many ways in which using an online, just only online, to match your foundation is problematic, which I'm pretty sure that a lot of these companies that have, you know, started completely online and began matching people just through, you know, asking about their skin, taking pictures, stuff like that. I'm sure that they have some type of advanced technology that they use that allows them to give people better matches. And, you know, since it is still an imperfect science, that's why they have guarantees. Like, if you don't like it, you can send it back. So I'm just showing you guys. If you look, you will see a very clean finish of how this is looking. And I've only used 2 droplets, which I probably could have gotten away with using less, because again, this coverage is very, very full. Very full. I still had a little bit left on the back of my hand, so I'm just going to brush that into my sponge and we'll use that for later. And now I'm just going over again because my face was very moisturized and I want to make sure that I suck up as much shine and oil as possible with my sponge, and then I will also set at the end as usual. So next I will be using the Juvia's Place concealer just to keep it all in the family, even though I used the Wet n Wild on my brows. But I'm just going to use this under my eyes and to highlight the areas that I normally do. I like this concealer a lot. I feel like it gives me coverage, although it does crease a little bit on me and I don't know what that's about, but that's okay. I can handle a little bit of creasing just as long as we, you know, cover up my dark circles. The applicator is also very thick. Like, I love that about this concealer. I love the Fenty concealer so much, and I love the shade that I chose for myself. However, the applicator is a little bit small, so I do have to, you know, dip a couple of times to get a good amount of product on the brush, but also the give and take with that is that this applicator is so big. When I do my nose contour, it's kind of hard because if I blend it out anymore, my nose is gonna get bigger instead of getting smaller, or my nose highlight. So it's about give and take, but I do love that Fenty applicator brush because I feel like my nose be snatched when I use it. And yeah, so this is all good. I accidentally dabbed on my eyeliner, but that's okay. And I just like to bring it up a little bit, you know, make that face look nice and snatched. And take a little bit of excess back to those areas that I already blended out because more product comes out because I put more product under my eyes. Blend out these edges, make it look a little bit more natural. Alright, and now we're going to go to setting my face. I'm going to use the black cocoa powder in medium. And I'm just going to pack on under my eyes and everywhere else that I use this concealer to highlight with. Alright, now I'm going to use my black cocoa powder in deep to set the rest of my face. And this powder does kind of lighten whatever foundation I have on just a little bit, but that is a-okay because this foundation honestly oxidizes to something a little bit darker than my skin. I know that's a little bit hard to see on camera and it is a really great match. However, when it does oxidate a little bit, it does get a little darker, which is great because I like my foundation to be a little bit darker. And it's probably some type of traumatic response to, you know, having foundations that were way too light. So now I want them to be darker. Alright. Now we're going to use the Juvia's Place palette once again to contour my face with this Hair and Blush Volume 1 palette. And I use Neo and Abby to contour with, and I just dip in both of them a little bit and then just take it in the crevices of my cheekbones. Alright, and I'm actually going to take a tiny brush and set a little bit under my eyeliner because it's looking a little bit shiny, which is a clear indication that my sponge wasn't able to fully get it. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of powder. We are done with it, and I'm going to take my brush and add just a little bit more of the brownie shades because I got a little bit of a dot right there. Alright. Next up is highlighter. And for today, I'm going to use a stick highlighter, and it is the NYX Bright Idea Illuminating Stick, and this shade is Bermuda Bronze. It's a little bit dirty because I put it directly on my foundation face, but it is a pinky goldy color, and it is going to match the pinky eyeshadow that I put on earlier. So I just take that in all the places that I would normally highlight. But first, I need to brush away some of this powder. And now I will get my nose again. And I blend out my nose highlighter with my finger. Then I take my brush and blend out some of these lines. Make it a little bit less harsh. And then I'm going to go into my Anastasia Beverly Hills, not the right one, glow kit. And I'm not going to tilt this up because I broke an eyeshadow in it, so there's a bunch of loose powder. But I'm going to use Amber Gold. It's basically this eyeshadow, but a little bit more finely milled, so the glitter in it doesn't look as, you know, chalky as it does on my eyes. Alrighty guys, I've gotten my wig on, and this is the finished look. This is how we're looking. What do you think? That coverage though, that highlight though,